Once you make cranberry sauce like this, you'll never buy the store-bought again. Today, y'all, I'm canning up cranberries. I pulled out the canner and got my canning cookbook out, and we're going to can these cranberries. Let's get started. Right here I have my 4½ cups of whole cranberries. And it says to bring your berries up to a boil and let them boil until the skins start busting open, and cook for 5 to 10 minutes. So we have our cranberries on a medium heat and we're waiting for them to come to a boil. This is the way my granny done it to dry her jar when she didn't have a dishwasher. When your cranberries start to bust open, after you bring them to a boil for 5 minutes, turn the heat off and let them just sit there and simmer for another 5 minutes. I'm going to add just a dash of cinnamon. My oven has preheated to 180, and we're letting our jars dry. Now we're going to turn the heat off and let them sit there and simmer for another 5 minutes and cool down so we can put them in our blender. going to do this in 2 different batches. Look how pretty that is. Now we're adding it back to our saucepan. Now we're going to turn it back on and add our 2 cups of sugar. And we're going to let that come to a good boil and cook it for 5 more minutes. Now that my jars are good and dry, we're going to take them out of this preheated 180 oven. Look how pretty and dry that came. Just within about probably 5 to 6 minutes. You can tell how it's starting to thicken up. See how it's staying on the spoon? I'm going to go ahead now and cut the heat off, and I'm going to skim that foam off the top. make sure to leave your 1-inch headspace. Just make sure you debubble it so you don't have any little bubbles in your cranberry sauce. Now we're going to take a wet paper towel with a little bit of white vinegar on it and just wipe your top of the rim off. You want to make sure you get all that sticky stuff, that cranberries and the sugar, off the top of your rim, and also check for any cracks or bad places that might be in the top of your jar that'll keep your jar from sealing. And now we're going to use our little magnet lifter to lift our lids out of the boiling water and place them on top of our jar. Once you have it on there, just hold it down, put your rim around it, tighten it up just a fingertip tight. This is my canner I'm using. This is a very old canner. It has the rack in it that keeps your jars from being on the bottom of your pot. So you don't want your jars touching the bottom of your canner. And this is water bath canning. So we're going to go ahead now and place our jars on the rack. Now that I have all my jars covered in water, we're going to bring this canner up to a boil. Once it comes to a good rapid boil, we will put the lid on it and process them for 15 minutes. It's what our recipe in the Ball Canning Cookbook says to do for this cranberry sauce. Okay, my canner has come to a boil. It's starting to bubble. It's starting to boil. So now I'm going to put my lid on my canner and process them for 15 minutes. Now set your timers for 15 minutes. While we're processing this canner, I just wanted to show y'all a good picture of this old-timey canner that Travis got me. Any kind of pot can be a canner as long as you can lift your jars off the bottom of the pot. You can use even your lids off your rims off your jars and put them in the shape of your round circle as a pot. It takes 6, I believe, or 7, and you could use that to lift your jars off the bottom of your pots. You could also order you a little jar lifter if your pot does not come with one that keeps them up off the top. But any pot can be a water bath canner as long as you keep your jars off the bottom and it has a lid that will seal on the top. Here's a little diagram of how I was talking about using the lids to make you a bottom for a water bath canner if it does not come with one. And you can probably order these off of Amazon. You can make your own, and maybe your canner will come with one. Okay, it's been 15 minutes, so now I'm going to cut the heat off and I'm going to let it sit there for around 5 minutes before I take the lid off. While you're waiting your 5 minutes before you take your lid off, get you a dry, very dry dish towel to set your jars on. Make sure it's not wet or cold at all, or it will break your jar. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and take our lid off of our canner and set it to the side. We let it cool down for around 5 to maybe even 8 minutes. And now we're going to remove our jars and place them over here on our towel. We're going to be using a jar lifter to get them out because that water is scalding hot. Once you make cranberry sauce like this, you'll never buy the store-bought again. Did y'all hear that pop? You know what that means in the canning world. We got a good seal. We had just a few cranberries, and I decided not to let them go to waste. I decided to put them in my pantry for long-term storage use, and they're pretty too, and we'll have them for months to come. Okay, y'all, I hope you enjoy this video on making homemade canned cranberry sauce from the Ball cookbook. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.